details of the message is going to be. But the main message, of course, is not going to change. So first of all, we're not going to leave Ukraine alone, because that would be detrimental not only for Ukraine and absolute betrayal, but also it would be detrimental for the future of Europe. We all understand perfectly that what will happen in Ukraine will reflect directly not only on the next steps of Russia, but also on the next steps of China in their imperial plans, which are now successfully going along.
And Lithuania is playing its role in terms of defence spending, up to 4% this year, looking at possibly 5 to 6% of GDP being spent on defence next year. We are hearing from the Germans, the Foreign Minister, Annalena Baerbock, suggesting that there is a plan being built out in Europe now to defend and spend heavily on defence. What are the details of that? What would that look like? What are the numbers we're talking about? Are we talking about aid, or are we talking about military hardware?
So, first of all, details of this plan are still in action. As we understand now, we are building the ship that we are already sailing on. But specifically, what was absolutely clear after the last 4 days in Brussels and in Munich, that first, we need to spend on defense fast and a lot. Hundreds of billions will need to be spent immediately if we really want to meet NATO capability targets as soon as possible, because as what we all understand, that Russia is not only successfully moving along with its army reform, and the size of its army has already expanded 3 times compared to February 2022, but it is even going further. But also defense industry capacity of Russia is moving faster than that of NATO Europe. And therefore, we need to invest both in our defense industry, in our military personnel, and in our infrastructure, and that needs to happen now. So the instruments most likely will be a combination of several ones. One of them will be probably borrowing, where we will need certain mechanisms that would ensure the quick flow of finances with conditions that would ensure that it would not hit our economies, that would not hit our borrowing ratings as well, but also maybe some other instruments that would be related to certain dotations, to certain aid related to acquisitions, joint acquisitions, and also development of European defense industry. Because what we also see is that we have to strengthen ourselves. And for Americans, that was the main requirement, that Europe needs to cover its own gaps when the United States is going to focus more on Indo-Pacific.
Minister, does that mean joint debt? Does joint spending on defence mean joint debt in either the Eurozone or in Europe more widely?
That I cannot answer so far, because this is now in process. This is now being decided. This is now being discussed. What we already know is that if probably less than half of the European Union was pushing for dropping Maastricht criteria in relation to defense spending. So after these 4 days, I think we are all on board that this needs to be dropped. And secondly, regarding joint European instruments, solidarity instruments like we used during pandemics or like we use for green costs, that these need to be set up immediately. Now also, I think that everybody or almost everybody is on board as well. My finance minister and my prime minister are the main people that you need to talk to about finance. My job is to ensure that
Sure. OK, so on the defence side, you mentioned that we need to be spending in Europe fast and we need to spend a lot. Some of our reporting suggests that whatever is agreed in Paris won't be announced until after the German election. Is that quick enough?
Well, since it's, a week to wait, it's not that much. But seriously,
but if the coalition takes a long time to put together, sorry, Minister, if the coalition takes a long time to put together, should German politics be able to delay the agreements that are made here?
I think that people in Germany really have no problem with sanity, and they understand what is at stake now. So even before elections are taking place, what we hear from different political sides in Germany is that they understand we need to hurry. I don't think, subjectively, my opinion, that formation of the government in Germany is going to take that long, because we all understand that this is not business as usual. So I think it's going to move pretty fast. But moreover, just before the election, before nobody knew how the new government is going to look like, they already made certain decisions, even before that shell-shocking speech of Secretary Hegseth in Brussels, that they ratified the agreement on German brigade in Lithuania, which is a big obligation, but obviously that is really important for Germany. But this realization that it's not United States who are going to be defending Europe, that it's Europe who are going to be defending ourselves with the help of United States, that is conceptually changing the security environment. And that means that we will all have to move fast, Germany included. Two statements that were already made by Boris Pistorius regarding Maastricht criteria and by Ursula von der Leyen regarding financial instruments show that, yeah, we are on the move and it's going to fast.